Good morning. Today we are going to talk about the French Revolution, specifically a little man with a big reputation. Napoleon Bonaparte was born August 15, 1769 in Ajaccio. He was the fourth child of 11 total in his family. He started school at an all-boys school in his town. When he was 10, his father moved him to a French military academy. There, he excelled in academics despite the constant teasing he received from his classmates about his height. He was such a good student that he received the nickname Little Corporal, tapping into his size. When he was 16 years old, he joined the French army.
When the Reign of Terror began, the National Convention ordered a levy of massy, which basically states that every French citizen had to join the army. This made it not only possible, but very easy for ordinary people to gain military power by rising through the ranks in the army. A shortage of officers allowed Napoleon to gain power quickly. By age 26, he was in charge of his own army. He was an artillery officer. In battle, he was a genius at using the cannon. His soldiers attacked and forced the enemy to retreat. Napoleon staged a military coup d'etat, overthrowing the French Directory. Thanks to a plebiscite or vote in 1802, Napoleon essentially crowned himself Emperor of France, but at least people got to vote on that. Napoleon officially took his title on December 2nd, 1804, in the Cathedral Notre Dame in Paris.
In 1804, Napoleon instituted a code of law that was divided into 5 parts. It made all citizens of France legally equal, securing the gains of the peasants and middle class during the Revolution. Napoleon's law code was used all over Europe and in the French Empire overseas, like in Louisiana. Napoleon wanted to give confidence in the government, so he reformed the civil service code. He got rid of all the corrupt officials and taxed everyone fairly. Government officials were no longer appointed based on family connections. He also created public schools called lycees, where any kid could get educated.
He established the Bank of France to regulate money supply and made the franc the official currency, stabilizing the French economy. In 1803, Napoleon sold Louisiana to the United States for $15 million. He had to sell all of this land for the money. Napoleon was in the middle of planning an invasion of Great Britain and could not afford to keep troops in Louisiana. France also did not have that great of a navy and could not control the seas from so far away. In selling the land, he was able to gain enough funds to conquer most of Europe. He gained control of England, Portugal, Italy, Germany, Prussia, Spain, and Austria.
Naturally, this wasn't enough for Napoleon. He also wanted control of the Iberian armies, so he went to war with his allies, Spain, Portugal, and the UK. He and his army crossed Spain and invaded Portugal in 1807. Then, in 1808, France turned on Spain. The conflict lasted until the Sixth Coalition defeated Napoleon in 1814. Napoleon didn't give up, though. He decided to hurt Britain by cutting off trade between them and the rest of Europe. The goal was to weaken Britain by denying them goods. He hoped it would help them convince Britain to negotiate a peace treaty. Instead, they kept giving themselves supplies using the large overseas empire, so Napoleon decided it was a great idea to go to war with them. Unfortunately for him, the British had the best navy in the world, and they destroyed the French in the Battle of Trafalgar.
England refused to make peace with Napoleon and attacked at any given opportunity. Napoleon led an army in Russia in the summer of 1812. Instead of fighting head-on, Russians would retreat whenever Napoleon tried to attack. Because of this, Napoleon and his army continued deeper into Russia even though he was unprepared. Napoleon's forces moved on to Moscow, but the city was evacuated. Russians set fire across the city, trying to deprive enemy troops of supplies. After waiting a month for a surrender that never came, Napoleon, faced with the coming of a harsh Russian winter, was forced to order the army out of the country. While they retreated, his army was battered by Russian troops. Only about 1/6 of Napoleon's troops made it out of Russia. After his troops gave up and retreated into Moscow, Napoleon offered to step down so his son could take over. When this offer was rejected, he relinquished his title as emperor and was exiled to the Mediterranean island of Elba.
He escaped Elba in 1815 and returned to rule France for the 100 Days. The French welcomed him as a hero, and he quickly rebuilt his army. The rest of Europe moved quickly to stop him, however. Later that year, Napoleon's forces invaded Belgium, where British and Prussian troops were stationed, ready for a fight. Napoleon's troops defeated the Prussians at the Battle of Ligny. However, 2 days later, at the Battle of Waterloo, the French were easily defeated by the British, with help from the Prussians. After Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo, signaling the end of France's domination of Europe, he abdicated his throne once again and was exiled to St. Helena, a remote island in the Atlantic Ocean where he spent the rest of his days.
His allies: Spain, Portugal, and the UK. What?
August 15th, 1769,
Napoleon staged a military coup d'etat.
Damn it, I forgot where I was, sorry.
In the government, so he reformed the Civil Service Act. No, just kidding.
Invisible.
Yeah. Cookie, what are you doing?
I'm a turtle.
You're a turtle?
Yeah, I'm a turtle with feathers.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was just a shell.
Cookie, you're weird.